Hey, in this video we're going to discuss how to calculate equity. Equity is the word of the day. We're going to discuss 3 ways on how you can increase equity, and we're going to discuss ways you can access and different things you can do with this equity. The main thing though is that you have all these people that own homes that don't know how much equity they have in their homes. They don't know how much debt they have in their homes. All they know is that they own a home and they've been owning a home for 10, 20, 30 years. So if you're a homeowner and don't know how much equity you have in your home and you want to sell your home, I'll buy it. I'll give you a good price on it, don't worry. What's going on? How we doing out there? Look, my name is Jeffrey, and in this show, we talk about entrepreneurship and investing for value. If you like this content and would like to get more content just like this, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button so you can get weekly videos speaking about entrepreneurship, real estate, and things of that nature. So let's get right to it. The pressing question today is equity, home equity. What is it? How does it work? How does it relate to you? Home equity, sometimes for homeowners, can be 90% of your net worth. So I think that it pays to know how to calculate your equity. Sometimes homeowners can be thinking about how to access this home equity, and then once they do so, what are they going to do with all this equity? So if you don't know how to calculate your net worth, this net worth that you have, or how to calculate how much equity you have in your house, you're not going to know how much equity you're going to get back or the amount of money you have to play with. The first step in knowing what your home equity is understanding or to know what the fair market value is of your home. The fair market value. Now the question is, how do you access or how do you know what the fair market value of your house is? There are many ways to do it. Number one, you can access or reach out to a real estate professional that's in your area. They can automatically give you a comp sheet. And this comp sheet will give you different homes in the area that have sold within the last 6 months to a year that is similar to the house that you own. Now within that time frame, you will be able to see many different various comparables. You will be able to see homes that were fully renovated, homes that were not fully renovated, but you can calculate the average. That's why they call it a fair market value. That's one way to do it. Or you can go online yourself, go to Zillow, go to Redfin, and many other various websites to look at what other homes have sold in your area that is similar to your home. And you can calculate the fair market value. Now the best way to calculate your fair market value of your house is to get an appraisal done. An appraisal sometimes can cost $400 to $600 to get it done. But it's the most accurate way to get it done because now you will know exactly how much equity is in your house. Once you know what the fair market value is of your house, you're past the first step. Now the second step is just to calculate how much mortgage debt you have on your home. So the only way to really do this is to call the bank and ask the banker how much debt you have in your home. It's that simple. Also, any outstanding balances you may have with the mortgage, late fees, etc., put that also into that balance. So now, once you're done with these first 2 steps, what you got to do is take the fair market value of your house and then subtract it from the amount of mortgage debt you have on your house. It's that simple. Now, once you're done with this step, that is not the final step. After that, you got to calculate the fees associated with whether or not you refinance or whether or not you sell the house. Typically, there are 8 to 10% of selling fees that go into selling your house. And then there are somewhere between 4 to 5% of fees when you want to refinance the house. So 8 to 10% of the fair market value is going to go towards closing cost fees. Bottom line. So you take the fair market value of your home, you subtract it from the mortgage debt you have in your home. That gives you a value. And then you take away 8 to 10% of the fair market value. That pretty much calculate how much equity you'll have in your home. That net number, whatever that number is how much you have to play with. So moving along, we're going to discuss ways to increase your equity next. The first step to this is equity increases with mortgage payments. So every time you make a payment, a part of the payment goes towards principal and a part of the payment goes towards interest. The part of the payment that goes towards principal is the part that helps build your equity. That's pretty much it. So every time you make a payment and it goes towards your principal, you will further increase the amount of equity you have in a house. In the beginning, when you first start your mortgage, you're going to be paying probably more interest than principal because that's how most banks set it up. But over time, you'll start paying more principal than interest. So it pays to keep your house for a very long time because of this one reason here. But remember, principal builds equity. The principal payments you put into your house builds equity. Number 2, equity increases with market appreciation. If you go out and buy a house, most times, or in most cases, the house is going to increase in value. Typically about 2 to 3% per year if the market is pretty healthy, which it mainly is, unless you're faced with the financial collapse that happened in 2008, 2009. However, though, if you bought a house in 2006 and then you tried to sell a house in 2008, 2009, then you would be underwater. That means that the price that you're trying to sell your house for is lower than the amount of debt you have in your house. So that means you're underwater. Timing is a critical component to buying and selling a house. But hopefully there isn't a great recession that happens again like it was in 2008, 2009. In most cases, you can buy a house and easily increase the value of that house just by holding the house by 2 to 3% per year. Number 3, equity increases with home improvements. So you can fix up all different parts of your house that need fixing. So you can start with the plumbing, electrical, the roof, the framing of the house. Whatever needs fixing on your house, you can fix it, and that will automatically help to improve the value of your home. Now, to be very strategic on what areas to focus on, think of it in terms of you as being a buyer. If you were looking to buy that house, what would you like to focus on, or what would you like to see if you're looking to buy a house? In most cases, it's always the kitchen, it's always the bathroom, and it's the exterior of the house. So the windows, the doors, the porch, the yard, the facade, all these things will help increase the value of your home in the eyes of a buyer. So that's the way to really look at home improvements when you're using your equity. So this is the way to really look at it when you're using your hard-earned money to put money into the renovation of your house. Be very cautious on not overspending on things that a buyer would not love if they come to your house. For instance, don't put 2 pools in the back with 2 decks in the back because you think it's going to look very fancy and you think that it's going to look nice. Because at the end of the day, a buyer isn't going to pay you more money for that 2 pools and your 2 decks just because it looks fancy and looks nice. No, they're going to go down the street to another house that don't have all that and pay a lesser price. However, in that area, if a lot of people are putting pools in their house and you see a comparable that says, look, if you put a pool in the backyard, you can easily command another $100,000, $200,000. Then by all means, put a pool back there to get more value. So I think the way to really look at this is to be strategic as to how you do it. If you're strategic in what to put your money on when it's time to sell your house, then you'll be in good shape. So the last thing is, what do you do once you are able to access this equity in your house? First of all, we got to first dive into how to access this equity in your house. As a homeowner, they have what they call a HELOC loan. HELOC, it's a home equity line of credit. And that's pretty much what it is. It's a line of credit. And with this line of credit, they'll lend you that money based on the equity that's in your house. So once you access this HELOC and you have discussed an amount you're going to get from the bank, there are many ways or many things you can spend this money on. You want to be very strategic as to how you spend this money too. So there are 5 things you can spend your money on with this HELOC loan that makes sense. You want to be very strategic on what you spend your money on. You can pay for college if the interest rate is lower than student loans debt. Going back to what I said earlier, you can complete home renovations on your home to increase the value, but again, being very thoughtful in the way in which you put your money at and thinking of it from the standpoint in the eyes of a buyer. Very important. Another one is you can invest in different types of investments that have a higher rate of return. Now, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what type of investments are out there, and you pretty much want to team up with somebody that is an expert in that type of investment. You can pay off high interest debt, another thing. So that will help you save more money down the road by paying off that debt today. Also, you can put money to the side for medical bills as an emergency, just in case things happen. So these are 5 ways in which you can use this HELOC loan, line of credit. So I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And you're going to get more content just like this coming your way.